Today, I'm going to answer some of the fundamental questions customers ask me in relation to You Build It, You Run It. Those are, what is You Build It, You Run It? Where did it come from? And what value does it offer? What is You Build It, You Run It? You Build It, You Run It is an operating model under which product teams design, build, deploy, operate, and support their own digital services. That's the single sentence summary. But to give a better idea of what it is and how it benefits businesses, it's worth talking about what came before it. For decades, well before the internet became mainstream, most organizations had a hard divide between their delivery and operations teams. The people responsible for building products and services were cordoned off from the people who would end up running those services. We typically refer to this model as ops running. In the pre-internet age, and before on-premise software became affordable, it kind of made sense. To be fair, it still makes sense in particular situations and within some industries today. But in many cases, the rationale for splitting delivery and operations teams no longer holds true. Today, most organizations providing a digital service need to achieve high throughput and high reliability in order to stay competitive. They also need to remain innovative. The Ops Run It model makes all of this really difficult. In 2006, the Chief Technology Officer at Amazon, Werner Vogels, explained the shortcomings of the Ops Run It model like this. The traditional model is that you take your software to the wall that separates development and operations and throw it over, and then you forget about it. Not at Amazon. You build it, you run it. And that's where the idea and the name for this alternative operating model comes from. What are the benefits of You Build It, You Run It? As Vogels said, one of the many benefits of removing the wall between development and operations was that it brought developers in contact with how their software operated when released into the wild. It required them to observe how customers experienced it, how they interacted with it, what frustrated them about it, and how those experiences, interactions, and needs changed over time. Because of this, their work incentives changed. They suddenly had a reason to build better products for customers and to adjust those products as their users demanded it. The focus shifted from software outputs to customer outcomes. That happened at Amazon, but it can happen anywhere that You Build It, You Run It is adopted. To be a bit more specific, with the You Build It, You Run It model, product teams own all aspects of the digital service, from its inception to decommissioning and everything in between. They design it, they build it, they'll test it, they'll deploy it, they'll release it and launch it. And they'll launch the features to live traffic and monitor the customer behavior. They'll respond to incidents and they'll report on all of this and more. Under the Ops Run It model, on the other hand, the product or delivery team will design, build and test, but approval and everything that happens during and after release is out of the team's hands. And what that often means is that organizations are constantly reacting to problems and they're patching up a boat just to keep it afloat. In the worst cases, they're bailing water from a vessel that might never have been seaworthy in the first place. Under You Build It, You Run It, those who build the product are proactive in its upkeep. They concentrate on continuously improving what they've created. The boat almost never gets a chance to take on water, and if it does, the remedy is quick and seamless. Adopting You Build It, You Run It after working with the alternative involves organizational change. That goes for people, processes, and technology. Where Ops Run It keeps skill sets separate, You Build It, You Run It requires cross-functional teams. As an organization making the shift, you'll redefine roles within your teams, you're going to streamline service management processes, and you're going to build an automated tool chain that connects all the potential tasks that sit between development, deployment, and incident management. So how do you go about making these changes? Well, that's a subject for another video, and probably a few. And they'll all be available on this channel, which is a good reason to like and subscribe. And if you've already done that, well, make sure you check back in for more on You Build It, You Run It. Thanks everyone, and see you next time.